Today I would like to do a little thought experiment with you, if you will. Imagine with me that you and I are walking down a very expensive street of houses. We find one with great big wrought iron gates. We notice that those gates are open, and ever bold, we decide to walk down the drive. At the end of the drive, we find a house of spectacular proportions. Large bright windows, the doors, the polished brass, new clean black paint. We see through the windows there's a fire blazing, warming a room full of laughing people, mouth-watering food arrayed on the table. The cold night air bites at our faces. We turn to each other and comment how wonderful it would be to live here, where joy and plenty seem to be the norm. Having no homes to return to ourselves, we decide to ask to live there. We bang on the door. After a short pause, we hear the lock click. The door opens, and there's the butler, pleasant smile on his face, a man who clearly enjoys his job. He asks in a deep, kind voice, "How can I help you, gentlemen?" I respond, "I'd like to come and live here." The butler, a little shocked, says that's totally out of the question. I say, "But your home looks so lovely, and I do not have a home." "That," says the butler, "is very sad to hear, but I'm afraid you cannot live here." "But," I respond, "I've never stolen anything. Your goods will be perfectly safe with me." "I'm not sure how your lack of theft is expected to change the situation," the butler says. You then chime in, "He's a very good friend to me. He's always helped me out when I'm stuck." The butler is unmoved in his position with this lovely endorsement. "I've never cheated on my girlfriend. I've always paid my taxes. When I have spare money, I give it to charity. I volunteer at the food bank. I'm always kind to animals. I never tell someone bad news. I recycle. I cleaned my room and made my bed when I was growing up without my mum having to ask me." Each of my virtues falls on deaf ears. Now I change tack. You know, I often spend time with the town mayor. I play chess with the old priest in town. I have Madonna on speed dial. But still the butler blocks the door. As I enumerate all the good qualities I have and list the important and influential people that I know, I hear the crunching of gravel behind me. The shadow of a man is approaching. His hair is matted. He smells like he is not washed in weeks. His clothes are ripped. As the light falls on his face, I recognize him as the man who has always been in trouble, fighting in the pubs, chasing girls who have been nothing but a bother to him. Ha! I think to myself, if I'm not going to be given entry to this house, this terrible person certainly will not be allowed to cross the threshold. But to my amazement, the butler sees the man coming and stands aside. And the man just walks in with just a nod to the man who is barring my entrance to the house. I splutter, filled with indignation. "I know that chap," I say to the butler. "He's not a good person. So why is he allowed in when I'm kept out?" The butler, a small smile on his face as he watched the retreating back of the man. "He is allowed in," says the butler, "because he is one of the owner's sons." Can you see what I'm getting at? Entry to this house is not based on how good a person you are, but rather on your relationship with the owners. Jesus is speaking in Matthew chapter 7 and verse 22 and 23 when he says, "On that day, many will come to me and say, 'Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name, and cast out demons in your name, and do many mighty works in your name?' And then I will declare to them, 'I never knew you. Depart from me, you workers of lawlessness.'" These men or women will not enter in, even though they have done lots of good things, even miraculous things. Jesus' response to them is, "Depart. I never knew you." So the question is, how do we then know Jesus? Not just know about him. I'm a little bit of a Lord of the Rings fan. The man who played Saruman was a chap called Christopher Lee. He lived a truly amazing life. I could tell you all about him. I could research his military career during the Second World War. I could examine his relationship with Swedish royalty. I could dissect his acting career and quote all the songs his metal band ever performed. But I could not say that I knew him. Not in the same way that his friends and family knew him. I might be able to quote to you every recorded word of Jesus. I might be able to tell you all the mighty and powerful things that he has done. But if I do not have a relationship with him, then my knowledge is not benefiting me at all. But fortunately for me and for you, there is a way to have a relationship with Jesus, the very God of heaven. And that is through faith in Jesus and his completed work at Calvary. By admitting that we have done wrong, and trusting that by dying in our place and rising again from the dead, that Jesus can save us. And we enter into a new relationship with him. In Romans chapter 8, Paul is talking about some of the benefits of putting our faith in Jesus. "For you did not receive the spirit of slavery to fall back into fear, but you have received the spirit of adoption as sons, by whom we cry, 'Abba, Father.' The Spirit himself bears witness with our spirit that we are children of God. And if children, then heirs. Heirs of God and fellow heirs with Christ." Notice that Paul says that we are adopted into God's family. Think on that. I'm very proud to be a member of my clan, my family, and the dignity that should go along with that. How much greater a clan to join. How much higher a family to be a member of. And you will see that Paul says that we're not just members of the family, but that we are heirs. We stand in a place of authority within the family. But for me, the greatest gift that Paul points out in this passage for the Christian is that we can cry, "Abba, Father." For those that don't know, Abba calls to mind the idea of daddy. It's not like the rich people of the 1800s who had a nanny and tutors to raise their children. But the children were almost a stranger to the father. This is the close relationship of a child who is comforted and encouraged on a regular basis by their father. The relationship that is real, close, and of infinite value. This relationship can be yours. You may not know what it is like to have a loving, caring father. I was very fortunate in that department. But you can have a close and loving Father in God. All it takes is faith in Jesus to have a relationship that matters not just now, but for eternity. So I would encourage you to take the leap of faith into the arms of a loving, eternal Father. Thanks very much for watching.